But in any case, we now go to the main event, which is Jericho versus Nick Gage, and the second labor of Jericho. The match is no DQ, and once again, MJF is on commentary. Now, I'm aware of who Nick Gage is, but this is the first time I've seen him in action, and it's certainly the biggest stage of his career. Not just because he's on national television, but because he's up against one of the company's biggest stars in the main event match of the episode. Still, I'm sure with all those factors, I'm pretty sure it means that this is not nearly as hardcore a match as Nick Gage usually gets in, but for AEW, it's definitely one of the more bloody fights they've had on TV. For the most part, it's about Jericho being the superior wrestler, while Nick Gage being the tougher brawler, as the guy wields a pizza cutter like a ninja wields a katana, and Jericho manages to fight from underneath whenever he gets too much of an advantage. Now, speaking of pizza cutters, are you aware of the controversy surrounding this match?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am.
So the controversy that sprung up is that during the commercial break for the picture-in-picture segment, we have Nick Gage who is going to work on Jericho with the pizza cutter, and it just so happened that TNT was airing a Domino's commercial at the same time. A quote from Domino's spokeswoman Jenny Fournier-Kerpetko via Front Office Sports, "We share the concerns expressed about this incident and the content of this TV 14 rated program, and are assessing our advertising presence on it going forward." I mean, Domino's doesn't need my help to sell their lousy pizza, considering how successful they are at selling greasy cardboard to the masses. But come on, guys. It's probably the most positive publicity you've gotten in a while. I don't know. That quote, it felt a bit... I don't think it did for them what they were hoping it would do.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of fun watching the end result of that pizza cutter spot, for sure.
Yeah. And to get back to the match, none of this is to say that Gage has nothing to offer as a wrestler aside from the blood and gut stuff. He does pull off a few good moves like a suplex and a Falcon Arrow, which, that gives him an edge over Jericho at certain points in the match. But on the flip side, Jericho's not above using weapons himself, as he avoids getting hit with light tubes by bashing Gage with Floyd the Bat. When he goes for a second swing, however, Gage manages to dodge it and lands a backbreaker, which leads to the heat during the commercial break. During this time, Gage sets up a pane of glass between two chairs to set up an impromptu table, and I think the idea is that he's going to land a stomp from the middle rope through the glass, which Jericho's positioned beneath. So not only giving him a face full of the glass itself, but also a boot to the face. So, not going to be fun there. But Jericho gets up while Gage is getting on the ropes, and he lands a bunch of punches before delivering a Hurricane Rana into the glass. Now, I'm not an expert on this, but to me it looked like safety glass. I pray that it's safety glass. There didn't seem to really be any jagged pieces. It was all like that crumbly stuff, which I usually associate with safety glass. But clearly this is not enough to stop Nick Gage, because Jericho goes for a code breaker and is caught by Gage, who drops him into the shattered glass. Even if it is the safe stuff, I'm sure it's not fun to go into. And what probably isn't safety glass are the light tubes, as Gage smashes them over Jericho's back, he gives him a pile driver, and he goes to get more light tubes after that. I don't know. Frankly, I am just not a fan of those, because it's just so easy to have a shard just long enough to cut something deep. But I don't know. Somehow Jericho manages to take a swig of some sort of juice and gives Gage a face full of mist before he can bash the light tubes over his head. While Gage is disoriented, Jericho hits him with the light tubes instead and smashes him with a Judas effect. He gets the pin, he wins the second match, and as far as I can tell, no one's dead, which is counterintuitively a good thing for a death match, and Jericho's one step closer to facing MJF. What did you think about all this?
I mean, you got to give it up for both of these guys. I mean, Jericho has nothing to prove at this point, and was willing to take a pizza cutter to the forehead, was willing to take several light tubes, and still that Hurricane Run off the top rope is so impressive to me.
Oh yeah,
and it looked amazing through the glass. And Nick Gage, I thought, did a pretty good job on the big stage. I think he really settled in. I thought maybe he started a little, not sloppily, but shakily. And I think he really settled in and focused on what he was really, really good at and what he does better than probably anybody on earth, which is having a death match. And I loved the mist. I think that was a reference to the great Muda, as JR said. And it adds, kind of a flair to the Painmaker persona that Jericho put on. But yeah, breaking a stack of tubes over Nick Gage's head and then hitting the Judas effect is a pretty gnarly way to end a match. So it was what it advertised, even if Domino's doesn't like it.